best for you. Simply visit Apple Podcasts and search A Word With You. Or for more information about accessing the podcasts or to subscribe to A Word With You transcripts, visit awordwithyou.com. A Word With You is a feature of Ron Hutchcraft Ministries. Thanks for listening.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Don't travel for the holiday. That's part of the latest coronavirus guidance from the nation's top public health agency, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, trying to discourage Americans from gathering for Thanksgiving. Pfizer will apply today to the FDA for emergency use authorization for its coronavirus vaccine. Albert Bourla is the drug maker's CEO.
Once they give us the green light, our goal is to start shipping in a couple of hours after we receive the green light.
He spoke with Britain Sky News. Dr. Deborah Birx, a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, says many seemingly healthy people have infected others with COVID-19.
Sometimes when we go indoors and we're with friends and family, we just assume that if you look okay, you are okay. And now we know that over 50% of the individuals, particularly among those under 35, many could be infected and unknowingly spreading the virus.
California imposing an overnight curfew. It covers 94% of the state's nearly 40 million residents. Also at srnnews.com, President Trump won by a landslide, and we're going to prove it. That from Trump attorney Sidney Powell, alleging foreign corruption involving Dominion voting systems whose software was used in the presidential election. Powell saying there is no doubt it has been used to alter elections in other countries. The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, contends that affidavits and other evidence prove widespread fraud in the vote count.
I've tried 100 cases. I prosecuted some of the most dangerous criminals in the world. I know crimes. I can smell them. You don't have to smell this one. I can prove it to you 18 different ways.
The Trump legal team saying it has just begun to fight. On Wall Street, Dow futures are down 39 points. NASDAQ futures 15 points higher. This is SRN News. A Georgia school district cracks down on prayer.
Officials in Fannin County are warning their staff members not to lead prayer with students after a high school football coach was seen doing so with the team. The county received a threatening letter from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which sends such missives to school boards and city councils all across the nation in an effort to enforce the so-called separation of church and state. The letters come with the implied threat of a lawsuit if the recipient does not comply. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
Another Christian has been flogged in Iran. International Christian Concern reports that a Muslim convert received 80 lashes this month for his faith. Persecution of Christians in Iran has been on the rise in recent years, and Muslims who convert face violence and repression. If they manage to avoid persecution by the government, they are often mistreated by their family and friends. Nonetheless, Christian ministries that work in Iran say the gospel is spreading quickly. This is SRN News. The feds want your thoughts on autonomous vehicles.
The U.S. government's Road Safety Agency is asking for public comments on how it should regulate safe deployment of self-driving vehicles. Seeking public comment is an early step in drawing up possible regulations, but that process could take years. So far, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has taken a voluntary approach to autonomous vehicles without standards and regulations. That has brought criticism from the National Transportation Safety Board and safety advocates for being too hands-off. Keith Peters reporting.
While some retailers like Walmart are managing to thrive during the pandemic, others like Macy's are having a tougher time. Macy's swung to a quarterly loss. Sales tumbled 22% as the department store chain struggled to bring shoppers back to its stores. Again on Wall Street, NASDAQ futures are up 15 points. More details.
Hey, it's Al Williams, co-host of The Breakfast Club and operations manager here at WVVC. We're entering into my favorite time of the year, the holiday season. It's November and Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Of course, we know Thanksgiving is going to look a little different this year thanks to COVID, but one thing that won't ever change is the love of Jesus. WVVC is here to share that message in a time when people really, really need to hear it. But here's the thing, we can't do it without you. Would you consider supporting WVVC? Just go to WVVCutica.com, click on Donate, or you can send a check to 1017 Higbee Road, New Hartford, New York, 13413. Happy Thanksgiving from the crew here at WVVC.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Friday, look for mainly cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 50s. For tonight, skies will be mostly cloudy as our lows will be near 40. For tomorrow, Saturday, we will see cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 40s. For Saturday night, we can expect cloudy skies in the evening with a chance for snow showers developing late. Our lows will be around 35. For the long-range outlook, temperatures will be more near normal as we will see partly cloudy skies into the weekend with a few chances for rain and snow showers for the early part of our new week. Thanksgiving looks to be partly cloudy and seasonable. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC, Utica, New York.
And it's Tiggif. Happy Tiggif, everybody.
It sure is. Somewhere far away was the beginning of the week.
Yes.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. This has been a crazy long week.
Yes, it was. We started, with like freezing cold temperatures and snow on the ground? And now we're like around 50 degrees out there.
It's going to be close to 60 today. And this good weather news brought to you by Forever Leather in the New Hartford Shopping Center.
Where Charlie Seeley has a herd of leather goods.
That's what I heard, yeah.
All sorts of beautiful. You heard that?
I heard that.
Or you
I heard
saw
about
the
herd. I heard about the herd.
Did
and
you
I
hear
saw
the herd,
herd.
or did you see the herd?
Saw the herd, too.
Okay.
There you go.
So you know.
I know. I know about the herd.
Coats, jackets, hats, gloves, all sorts of great stuff Charlie's got out there.
Absolutely. 315-734-0922 is the number for Forever Leather.
So if it's going up to almost 60 degrees, can we get the yard work done today?
Probably not.
Because you're not going to come over and get my yard work done.
There you go. I feel like taking a nap already, and I haven't even started my day.
Nap's a long way away.
Nap's a long ways away. It is 7:01. Time to start this train off.
A great day to start the day.
Yeah.
Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for a new opportunity to praise you. We pray, Lord, for health and wisdom. And Father, we pray as we enter this day that we hear your word, walk in your steps, that we be filled with your Holy Spirit and manifest your greatness, your goodness, and your love here on this earth. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
First on your FM dial, WVVC Dolesville, Utica, Rome. Inspo Radio 88.1 FM.
Okay, Good Day is our Christmas part of the album, and you can play this at your Christmas parties or to yourself on Christmas Eve if there's nothing else to do.
Good Day, eh?
Yeah.
In case you thought, I wasn't on this part.
Oh, I guarantee you'd be on. Okay, so Good Day, this is the Christmas part, and we're going to tell you what to get your true love for Christmas.
Look out the window.
Where? What are you doing?
Snow.
What? Oh, it's a great white north, and it's snowing because it's Christmas time. Hey, Hoser, here's a quiz. Quiz for Doug.
Okay, I have my thinking toque on.
Yeah, right. What are the 12 days of Christmas? Because figure it out, right? Christmas is when?
The 25th.
Right, and what's the 24th? Christmas Eve, right? So that's two. And then what's after that? Boxing Day. No, get out.
Day, yeah.
That's 3. Then what's after that? Nothing.
New Year's.
4. And what's
New Year's Eve?
5?
Okay.
Where do you get 12?
There's 2 Saturdays and Sundays in there. That's 4. That's 9. And 3 other days, which I believe are the mystery days.
Oh. Okay, now, this is our Christmas song, in case you don't know what to get somebody for Christmas.
There's lots of ideas in here, so listen and don't get stuck.
Okay.
By the way, that's me on the organ.
Oh, jeez.
You start.
Okay. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a beer. And a beer. Okay, good. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French toast and a beer. Okay. Where? Go. 3 French toast and a beer. Oh, yeah. The 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden toques, 3 French toasts, and and a beer. What was it? Tree. Okay, on the 6th. To go. 5 golden toques. Beauty. 3 French toast. And a beer in a tree. Okay. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 packs of smokes, 5 golden toques, 3 French toast, and a beer in a... Right, I keep forgetting. Okay.
This should just be the 2 days of Christmas. It's too hard.
8th day of Christmas, true love gave to me 7 packs of smokes, 6 packs of 2, 4, 5. And a beer. Yeah, that beer is empty. Okay, date 12. Yeah. Golden tubes, 4 pounds of back bacon, 3 French toast, 2 turtlenecks, and a beer in a tree.
A little Friday music there, Al. Looking forward to the weekend.
Little musical interlude, and Miss Kimmy's in the studio. Give me the look like what?
Give me
was
the frown.
That? What was? Miss Kimmy says she could tell us what the 12 days of Christmas are.
Okay, come on. Right, let's get informed here.
Let's get informed.
Miss Kimmy is going to join us before the garden report
and before the news, even.
So prepare your soil.
Okay.
When I was young, we used to call these UBIs, unimportant bits of information.
Gotcha.
And my head is full of them. So
here now, the UBI.
The UBI.
The 12 days of Christmas are from Christmas Day.
Okay.
December 25th, and I'd have to count on my fingers to figure out what the ending is, but it ends on the day of the gifts, when the 3 kings came to give Jesus the gifts.
Interesting.
The gifts of the Magi, which is, I want to say, like January 4th or 5th or somewhere around that. I have to count on my fingers. But that's the 12 days of Christmas, from Christmas Day to the
interesting
what we call Epiphany, I believe.
Very interesting. See, I never knew that.
You are now UBI'd.
I am now UBI'd. We're going to have to save that UBI
You're have
acronym.
To save that UBI.
We're going to have to use that from now on. Anytime we have information that doesn't
That'll be a Kimmy UBI.
A UBI.
Yes.
There you go. Absolutely. Your news update is brought to you by Dr. Uniforms, 1311 Oriskany Street West in
Dr.
Utica.
Uniforms, where he has toques,
he does
not have 5 golden toques.
He does not have the golden toques.
No, they're not golden toques there.
They're on back order. They're on back order.
He's got mighty white ones. A.K.A. the Chef Boyardee hat, not the Canadian-style toque.
That's right.
Okay, which is the pointy hat that's kind of like really long. You know, the kind you don't want to go snowmobiling with.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because those bogey tracks get in the way.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, professional garb for professional people.
Yes, indeedy. Spiffy scrubs and the kind of shoes that can keep you on your feet all day long.
Absolutely. 315-266-0093. Wow. 50 degrees and partly cloudy.
50
outside.
whole degrees.
50, as opposed to them half degrees. It is 50 whole degrees out there this morning.
Now, your local headlines from the Breakfast Club.
All right, so a Kansas man charged with attempted murder after he allegedly intentionally hit a pedestrian in the town of Hartwick. This is according to the Otsego County Sheriff's Office. George K. Wang, 23 years old, arrested on Wednesday.
23?
23. November 18th there. Charged with attempted murder, vehicular assault, operating a motor vehicle impaired by drugs, and driving while intoxicated. So he had the whole fun cocktail going on there. Authorities say Wang was driving under the influence on State Route 28 when he drove off the road onto a grassy area by the Tops Plaza, hitting a pedestrian. Witnesses say Wang sped away from the scene without stopping. The victim listed as stable condition and is being treated for multiple injuries from the accident. Deputies located the suspected vehicle near Route 28 and the I-88 interchange with apparent front-end damage. Wang was pulled over and taken into custody and arraigned, currently being held in the Otsego County Correctional Facility at $300,000 secure bond. And a Rome man indicted on several sex abuse charges after officials say he allegedly had sexual contact with multiple children ages 6 to 15.
Oh.
That is pretty sick.
Now, why couldn't the Wang guy find the guy in Rome and try to twag him?
And hit that guy, yeah. Not that we're endorsing that. Anthony J. Melise.
Do not drive like this.
Do not. 37 years old, arrested and charged with one count of first-degree criminal sexual act in September and allegedly abusing a 10-year-old girl in the spring and early summer. He was remanded to the Oneida County Correctional Facility after arrest on $25,000 bail or $50,000 bond. At this time, the Oneida County Sheriff's Office has more charges are expected.
Oh, boy. And
Bethlehem police looking for a missing adult. They say 22-year-old Eliza, let me see if I can pronounce her last name, Dearleen, has autism, may be suicidal, and in need of medical attention.
Oh, boy. Last
seen on Kenwood Ave in Delmar around 2:30 p.m. Thursday, may be headed north on I-87. She's 5 feet tall, 4 inches, 160 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Last seen wearing a purple jacket and black jeans with a purple face mask and carrying a purple bag. Police believe she may be traveling to Plattsburgh. Anybody with information is asked to call Bethlehem Police 518-439-9973. And an adolescent male has been taken into custody by city police and charged with second-degree arson in connection with a fire at a three-family home on Montgomery Street in Gloversville last week. That displaced 5 residents. The male was one of several individuals located and detained for questioning by police on Friday during the execution of a search warrant at 77 East Fulton Street. According to a press release, evidence connected to the arson investigation and other ongoing criminal investigations was located inside the two-family home on East Fulton Street. During the search, police also located a quantity of suspected narcotics that are being sent to the State Police Forensic Unit for verification. A male whose name has not been released due to his age, located by police in the residence on Friday, was taken into custody and charged with second-degree arson, a Class B felony. So, yeah.
Second-degree arson, does that mean you used a lighter?
Yeah, and it wasn't a blowtorch. It was just a lighter. So second degree right there. All right, so it is time to celebrate.
Celebration time.
Okay,
what's going on?
Now there's only 2 holidays to celebrate today. So, but you know what? These are both good ones.
Is it because we're getting close to Thanksgiving and they kind of taper it off to make Thanksgiving appear really big?
Yeah, there you go. That's got to be it.
Okay,
got to be it.
Yeah.
Okay, the first holiday we're celebrating today, National Peanut Butter Fudge Day.
Peanut butter fudge.
Yes.
Who invents these things?
I don't know, but that's
peanut butter and fudge people do.
That's right. That's a reason to celebrate.
Okay, peanut butter fudge.
And the second one will explain the song that I started the half hour with. Today is National Absurdity Day. So there you go.
This is the person wearing the 5 golden toques.
That's right.
The National Absurdity Dude.
National Absurdity Day. We are celebrating today. So everybody,
isn't that a little bit crazy, Al?
Get out there and make your neighbors look at you funny.
National
Absurdity Day. Absolutely.
Also known as British Humor Day.
A little something like that. You want to hear something funny? I didn't bring my iPad in today. It's awful hard to do the gas tracker report when I can't.
Well, how's Todd going to know what the gas prices are?
That's it. How is he going to know?
Man, the poor guy. He's going to be stuck out there wondering what pump to drive to.
I will be using my phone today.
Defin?
The WVVC gas tracker report.
Speaking of absurdity, is that Defin?
Defin?
Defin.
Your gas tracker report brought to you by Big Dog Motors.
Big Dog Motors, where Todd Gookin can keep your wheels running smooth, whether you need body work, mechanical work, maybe an inspection, or maybe an inspection for big boy toys.
Yeah.
You know, and speaking of body shops, if you need a little help with your deductible because you were in that fender bender.
Or if you happen to run into somebody in Hartwick and you need work on your car.
Or if you were in Hartwick and you got run over and need body work. Don't see Todd. Go see your doctor.
Go see your doctor.
And get your body work done.
That's right. Big Dog Motors. 315-444-9028 is his number. BigDogMotorsInc.com is the web address where it is very possible to make an appointment.
Yeah, you can go right online and make appointments and cool stuff like that.
Stuff like that. And they're located at 4262 Acme Road in Frankfort. And cheapest gas today belongs to BJ's at 2 $2.07 today.
Oh,
went up a penny.
2.07.
Now Mohawk Fuel on 291 went down. They are $2.11 today.
Ah, they went down 4 cents.
That's right. Speedway on North Genesee Street. $2.19. Speedway on Oriskany Boulevard. $2.19. And that concludes the $2.19 club for
man,
today.
You got to talk to some of these managers.
Yeah,
we
it's
need more
just terrible.
$2.19s.
Sunoco and A+ on Kellogg Road. $2.21. Sitco on Oneida Street. $2.27. And Stewart Shops on Utica Street near Limberlost.
People are already raising their gas prices in anticipation that Biden is going to be president.
I tell you, I always wondered why the prices differ between summer and winter, and then I heard somebody from AAA explain that there's a winter and summer
winter
blend
and a summer blend.
Yes.
Probably.
He's the same guy who says that if you're getting gas, get gas early in the morning, because especially in the summer, because early in the morning has to do with the density.
The coefficient of expansion of the gasoline?
Yes. You actually get more for your money in the morning than you do in the heat of the day.
Probably get what? Maybe an extra quarter of a pint?
Yeah, quarter of a pint, something like that. Yep.
But actually, I don't know what the coefficient of expansion of gasoline is.
I have no idea.
Okay. So, let's say you had a gallon cider container.
Yep.
And you fill it with gasoline.
Yep.
And let's say you fill it to the top of the handle, so you got like a 1 inch to the top.
Yep.
And you bought your gasoline in the morning, and gasoline in the ground is sitting at 48 degrees.
Okay.
All right. And now you put it on the table, and it gets to be 60 degrees, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And the gasoline will rise, okay, because it's expanding. It's warmer.
Yep.
Okay, so it's expanding out. And the measure of the difference between the two things is called the coefficient of expansion.
Interesting.
Okay.
So is that another UBI? Did we get another
one
today?
If it's really big or if it's really small. Here we are. Miss Kimmy has come up with the coefficient of volumetric expansion of gasoline is...
Okay.
Absurdity symbol, thank you. 0.000950 per kilogram.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Using the standard density coefficient of 15.6 degrees Celsius.
Another UBI for you.
There you go. Aren't you guys glad we wasted time on that? Now, I don't know if that coefficient is a rather large coefficient or if it's rather small, compared to...
You're supposed to know this
say,
stuff, Walt.
Steel.
You're fired.
You know what now I got to go find a job.
Oh, no.
No, but if I work on the radio, I wasn't really working, so all right, let's just keep going.
We'll just keep going, yeah. Yeah, it's all good. So what's going on outside the area?
Oh! There's something going on?
Well, actually, I don't know if something I didn't mention in the local news. Antonio Delgato has declared victory in the, the 19th district he's in?
Okay.
Out there near Albany and parts of Otsego County. That's that congressional district. So Democrat Antonio Delgato will hang on to that. In the 22nd, Claudia has like a 350 vote lead.
Yeah, it's very skinny.
Yeah.
It's amazing. She went from, what was it, like 17,000?
It was 30,000 initially.
30,000.
Yeah.
Okay, down to 300, counting the mail-in ballots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we've been counting mail-in ballots for what, like 2 weeks, now? Okay.
Yep, 2 weeks.
I remember when these things used to go a lot faster.
Count until you win.
That's
how that goes.
And that is why they're still counting out there in Michigan and Georgia, where they're doing the quote-unquote a recount, but not a what was it, Miss Kimmy? They're doing a recount, but not an audit.
Not an audit. Yeah.
Okay? So, in other words, the votes that they cheated with are being counted again. The second time around. So, actually, Giuliani in his press conference yesterday was like, why do that? Why even bother? Okay?
Yeah.
What you really need is an audit. Okay, so closer to home, before we get too far out there on that subject, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says, "It's frightening to me that arrogant sheriffs won't enforce my COVID restrictions over Thanksgiving." He said, "I believe as a law enforcement, you have a right to pick and choose what laws you will enforce.
You have no right.
I don't believe as a law enforcement officer that you have the right to pick and choose. Well, I don't believe as a governor you have the right to say something and then say it's a law.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Okay, so actually this thing that he's putting out, his quote-unquote Thanksgiving mandate where you can't have more than 10 people in the house, okay, and he expects local law enforcement to enforce this, period, end of sentence.
Yeah.
It's not a law, Andrew Cuomo, period, end of sentence.
Can't enforce that.
So, yeah, it's like just because you stand up at a press conference and show your arrogance and your fat head doesn't mean that, it's a law.
How do you really feel, Walt?
Trippingly off your tongue. Okay?
You really feel he has a fat head, huh?
Well,
I can confirm, but I was just checking.
You do need a wide lens.
You do need a wide lens
when you're
to
at
pick
that
up
press
that head.
conference. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that cartoon Megamind, the character with the huge head? Yeah, except I don't think Cuomo's mind is that big,
I think
honest.
the characterization of Cuomo would fit very well into that cartoonish figure, into that absurd cartoon figure.
Yes. Yeah, he's a special kind of one.
Yeah, and he's being considered for, if the new Biden administration does come in place, he's being considered for Secretary of State. Now, I want you to think about this. Do you think Benghazi was bad when Hillary was Secretary of State?
I was just going to say, if you thought Hillary was bad and you said nobody could be worse than Hillary, now we're talking about Andrew Cuomo.
There were hundreds of requests long before our ambassador got to Benghazi to the Hillary administration of the Secretary of State. Yep. Okay, you need to increase security. You need to increase security. You need to increase security. They never did it. Hundreds, and I believe it's actually in the order of 600. Okay, so what did they do? They sent a gay guy to an Arab country.
Oh, yeah,
a gay ambassador with no protection into an Arab country,
a country
surrounded.
That is truly intolerant of homosexuality.
Surrounded by Islamic terrorists.
Yeah.
Okay? What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
By the way, at the American Embassy in Benghazi, there was somewhere around 30 of our people at that embassy. Every single one of them, male and female, were raped.
Yeah.
Okay? A few died, including the 4 Americans that were told to stand down several times. You can believe Hillary's side of it, or you can believe the guys that were there.
Yeah.
Okay. And four of our, they weren't Rangers, they were special teams.
Yep.
Special teams guys actually crossed about a mile across the town to support the people in the embassy, who were then, once the Americans did get there, were brought to Cyprus, okay, as a staging area. American congressmen flew to Cyprus to find out what was going on, and all 30 people were told, if you talk to these congressmen, you're going to be quiet for a long time.
Unreal.
Okay? So the congressman came back never having interviewed a single American embassy person. Now, I don't know, it might sound to you like, maybe there was a little squelch, a little shutdown, a little slam the door on the American public there. But, it's just me.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just, saying.
Well, in the words of Hillary, what difference does it make?
It makes a lot if you want a free country.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yesterday there was a press conference, and Trump's lawyers laid out their fraud cases in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Giuliani was there. So was the Miss Kraken.
Yes.
Sidney Powell. There was also the woman, I can't remember her name right off the bat, but she was in Michigan, and she saw bukus of cheating that was going on personally, and she was also an employee for the machines that were counting the votes. Okay, so she is witness to what was going on out there. Now, all sorts of arguments are kicking around. They did not present evidence, but they also said that the reason we're not giving you, the press, evidence and witnesses is because, for instance, the lawyer that we hired in Pennsylvania, thank you very much, Press Corps, for saying that we withdrew from that case. They also said why they withdrew their case in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It was a Benghazi type thing.
Yeah.
Okay? The lawyer that was handling the case in Pennsylvania said that his life was threatened and his family's life was threatened, and I would like to step down from this case. And if I continue with this case, I'm being told that I will never be practicing law again in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're somebody that owns a big law firm. You got a family. You got a career. You want to stay alive.
Yeah.
So that is why the case in Pennsylvania was dismissed. It didn't have anything to do with legal grounds or the validity of the legal grounds. It had to do with whether or not the guy wanted to stay alive.
Yeah.
By the way, this is all blown over as you look at it today. So what they did is they talked about one was the cheating with the machines. Okay, the Dominion machines running scoreboard software. And they talked about the server in Germany, and they also talked about how a lot of this software has originated from foreign sources.
Yeah.
And is owned by primarily major Democrats all over the place. Okay, that's one issue. The second issue they talked about was that, for instance, in Michigan, and this is also, we talked about this in Georgia, where you would bring votes in that look like they're printed. They don't even have a crease in them, but you have to fold them to put them inside the envelope to mail in your mail-in ballots. But we have these perfectly clean sheets, and they get, not only does somebody bring in 500 extra ballots at 3 o'clock in the morning from somewhere, but they get scanned in 3 times or 5 times. Okay, and this is what they are saying, that we have witnesses that are doing this. The press corps was, you're not showing us any evidence. You're not showing us any evidence. You're not showing us any evidence. Their position was, when we bring witnesses forth, the only thing that you guys do is dox the witnesses that we bring forth. The same way you dox the lawyer that we brought in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We are telling you this is an opening move. This is what we are expecting to do in court. We are not going to give it to you now, but when we go to court, this is what we are going to do.
Yep.
Okay. And of course, Rudy Giuliani had his hair dye rolling down as he was sweating out the press conference kind of thing. And there was more news about that than there was about the actual content of the news conference. One of the things that they did say at the news conference, according to Sidney Powell, okay, she is the woman who said she's releasing the Kraken. I have this information that is just going to blow everybody away, and I'm letting the monster out. She said this is a massive, well-funded, coordinated effort, according to Sidney Powell. It is of the greatest concern. It is the 1775 of our generation and beyond. And what do the reporters talk about? Hair dye.
Hair dye. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the Benghazi thing. Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see.
Okay. And Giuliani said, we have more than double the number of votes needed to overturn the election in terms of provable illegal ballots. This was a disgraceful thing that was done to this country. And he said that there are enough ballots disputed in at least 3 swing states to reverse the projected win for Mr. Biden. He cited mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin that the campaign is challenging through over its litigation and recount efforts. They also said that witnesses claim a truck pulled into the counting center in Detroit at 4:30 a.m. after polls closed November 3rd with stacks of Biden ballots. About 50,000 of these were triple counted, according to witnesses. The ballots were produced very quickly and very swiftly. And what do you know? Mr. Trump trails by 155,606 votes.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And these ballots show at 4:30 a.m. 50,000 ballots.
Isn't that the truck that people thought was a food truck and it turned out to be loaded with ballots?
I'm not sure. Sure. But it very well could be.
Yeah.
Now, The other thing that was brought out that you don't see the mainstream media midgets, mental midgets, the
Mental
mainstream
midgets.
media mental midgets not investigating is if you do a data analysis of the election results, and they did bring this out in the press conference yesterday, okay? It is a statistical impossibility that these things happen, okay? It's basically statistically impossible that 50,000 votes in a row, for example, go for Biden and none for Trump. It's statistically impossible that, you have all these little dots. Also, if you also look at other statistics in a broader spectrum, and if you look at the way the results, how they were counted in, and if you also look at, like, let's say in Michigan, okay, the way the votes went along a certain curve. But then if you go into the county that has Detroit in it, why doesn't the county in Detroit basically follow, kind of like along the same graph thing? There's a number of statistical anomalies, okay? Is it against the law to have a statistical anomaly? No. But it points to a failure point. And what is the failure point? The failure point is really cheating.
Yeah.
Okay? Somebody put their thumb on the wheel so that the wheel will stop on a certain number.
Right.
Okay? And all of a sudden, I keep playing, like in Casablanca, I keep playing 33. What do you know? The wheel stops on 33. Play it again. Humphrey Bogart says, leave your money there. Oh, it stops on 33 again. Okay, boom. Wow, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things that they really tried to point out, some of the few things that they tried to point out in the press conference. And they wanted to say, but you're not showing me any evidence. And they're saying, yeah, there's evidence out there, okay? We're giving you indicators to the evidence, where the evidence is, what has happened. You guys are supposed to be journalists.
Yeah.
If you're journalists, all you have to do is look, and you're going to see this. And they were saying, yeah, but you're not showing me any evidence. You're not showing me any evidence. And they were like, we're telling you what our opening move is going to be. We're going to bring the evidence to court because we don't want you guys chasing down the evidence that we're going to bring and then try to, like, manipulate people. And like the lawyer that left Pennsylvania,
like the post office guy who was stuck in an interrogation room for hours.
With two FBI guys saying, are you sure that's what you heard?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? We only need 1/1000th of the truth, okay? So you just tell us that 1/1000th that we want to hear. Are you really sure? Da-da-da-da. And if I get locked in a room with two FBI guys that are trained in interrogation, and I'm just, Joe Schmo,
yeah, what do you do?
All I know is how to put letters in boxes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he recanted. He said, no, they were just intimidating me. They were bullying me. The same thing that happened to our two representatives in Michigan that voted to certify the election and then said, no, you know what? Now that I am away from your bullying, I know that was wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be bullied, and I am recanting signing off on this certification. Which way is Michigan going to go? By the way, guess what else is happening in Michigan?
What's that?
They are trying to recant the governor.
Yeah. And from what I've seen, that would be a positive move for the people of Michigan.
It would be. Whether or not it's actually going to happen is kind of like, because it is a majority Republican and a Democratic governor in Michigan, but they are trying to push it through. But frankly, I think it's a good thing because it will make Governor Whitmer realize that she does have limits and bounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that would be a good thing. And by the way, a bad thing, the Biden transition team that's being formed up.
Yeah.
They have formed a board of left-wing political hacks to start looking for people that will fill the Biden.
I saw that. I saw that.
So just in case, if you think it's going bad, it could look worse.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
So it is 7:34 out there, and the bottom of the hour weather is brought to you by the folks at Media Partners Group, who can take your old videotapes, your old films, and your old slides and get them converted to DVD or thumb drive or a hard drive. 768-0277 is their phone number, and they're located at 188 Main Street in New York Mills.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Friday, look for mainly cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 50s. For tonight, skies will be mostly cloudy as our lows will be near 40. For tomorrow, Saturday, we will see cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 40s. For Saturday night, we can expect cloudy skies in the evening with a chance for snow showers developing late. Our lows will be around 35. For the long-range outlook, temperatures will be more near normal as we will see partly cloudy skies into the weekend with a few chances for rain and snow showers for the early part of our new week. Thanksgiving looks to be partly cloudy and seasonable. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
The Breakfast Club.
We have Dave from Sidewalk Prophets on the phone.
I love that you're the Breakfast Club, man. I don't know which character I would be in the Breakfast Club, but I'm excited to be a part of it.
On Inspo Radio, WVVC-TV.
Come, let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. See what our Savior has done. See how his love overcomes. He has done great things. He has done great things. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquered the grave. You free every captive and break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awakened alive. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great things. You've been faithful through every storm. You'll be faithful forevermore. You have done great things, and I know you will do it again. For your promise is yes and amen. You will do great things. God, you do great things. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquered the grave. You free every captive and break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awakened alive. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God,
Wickham on WVVC 88.1 FM, also on 90.9 out there in Gloversville.
In Gloversville, yeah.
Yes.
We got some new territory that we're broadcasting to.
Yeah, and I took a look at the map, and it looks like we reach Amsterdam, we reach Saratoga Springs, which got me there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, we reach, let's see here, Sharon Springs, Springfield Center, Cherry Valley.
St. Johnsville?
St. Johnsville. So I just want to welcome
Richfield Springs.
all of our new listeners.
Cooperstown. All those folks along Canandaigua Lake.
Yeah, we got a nice nice expansion of our coverage.
Welcome, everybody. We hope that you enjoy our scintillating intellect.
Yes.
And Al's absurd humor.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Our absurd scintillating intellect. Absurdly scintillating?
Something like that,
yeah.
yes.
It's pretty hot.
Yes. Yes, the absurdity level can get high in here sometimes, you know.
Al, I got some more good news for
Okay.
you. Okay, at least, you know, one thing that is happening is we talked about the press conference yesterday with Giuliani and Sidney Powell, and the fact that they do say that they have evidence, okay, and that it will be coming out once they start getting into court and stuff like that. But you know, we were told that there would be this huge blue wave, this blue tsunami about how the Democrats would be taking over. Okay, they're fighting tooth and nail to try to keep this so-called election that has happened.
Yeah.
Okay, there was an election that happened, but personally, I absolutely believe that there was cheating on a huge scale.
Oh, yeah.
I think the machines were manipulated. And remember in the Glenn Beck thing that we talked about, they brought an expert in, and he says it's not easy to manipulate the machine in just one way. It's easy to manipulate the results of the machine also, and there's about 3 different ways for you to manipulate the machine while it's running. You know, and then after the election, there's a couple of different ways you can change the results.
Yeah, like
so there's
by
like
not
5
counting
different
it at
ways
all.
of manipulating these Dominion voting machines, which are used by 28 states across the country, and so with they're cheating on the Biden side, and the Democrats were saying that there was going to be this huge blue tsunami, okay? And what actually happened, all 26 toss-up districts, okay, that were put out there by the polls went to Republicans.
And this was a big year for Republican women.
This is, yes, it is. A huge number of pro-life conservative women are going to be going in. Hopefully our own NY22, Claudia Tenney, will be going in. Again, this is another, we see a lead that's been, you know, has it been manipulated? It seems to me that, what did he need? He needed like 72% or 73% of the mail-in ballots to go. It looks like it's going to be maybe 73%. What do you know? Yeah. So, but all 26 toss-up districts went to the GOP, and 7 seats in that 27 that were leaning Democrat. Okay? And there were major Democrats that lost. Okay? Like in Florida, there was a huge race there. Okay? And so I find it kind of amazing that, you know, they say that there was going to be this blue tsunami.
Yeah.
You know, and they know that they were really looking to spin the presidential election. But, you know, again, another statistical evidence that, you know what, I don't really think that people were going for Biden.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a thing called voter suppression. One of the tactics of voter suppression is to try to convince the other side there's no point in voting. And I think that's what the chant of the blue tsunami was. Hey guys, don't even bother going. You're not gonna win. But the problem is there's so much energy behind the Republican Party right now.
Right.
Because it's not the Republican Party of even 10 years ago.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this particular Republican Party is not really super good for the big corporate mega companies that want to outsource, that want to get labor from China. This doesn't work for them. So the old days of the old big money keeping the Republicans in, well, those days are gone, at least at this moment, and we hope it stays that way.
Yep.
And
then the other thing that's kind of like we were talking about at the press conference, today's meme has an officer standing outside a safe that has been broken into, and there is the donkey holding the bag. Okay.
Yep.
And the safe is like, these are the votes. These are where the votes are kept. And the donkey is holding the bag behind him. And the officer says, "Did you just rob that safe?" And meanwhile, there's the tools of the trade all around the donkey standing there. And the donkey says, "I didn't do nothing, officer." And there's a reporter with his little pad that says, "Oh, yeah, that works for me."
Yep. Yep. There's the meme for you.
There's your investigation. Oh, the donkey said he didn't do anything.
Yep.
Yep. But there is evidence everywhere around him.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what? People who are saying Donald Trump should just give up, no. No. You give up when you're done, when it's the evidence.
Once again, let us recall that Al Gore was given 37 days to dispute 3 counties in Florida.
Yep.
Okay. Trump with a team of how many lawyers were on stage yesterday? 4 or 5?
Something like that.
Okay. With a team of 5 lawyers is trying to dispute 5 different states.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we give him his 37 days instead of everybody telling him to concede now, concede now, concede now?
Yeah.
It's like, Mr. Reporter, why don't you actually just start to look at the evidence, start to do a little bit of investigation. Although I will concede that we are going to have to start seeing solid evidence and solid witnesses really soon because times are burning.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, if we pull this like this for too awful long, it could actually lead to a different kind of voter suppression, and that would be frustration.
Yeah, we're sick and tired, and it's like there's no
point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
You just can't win.
Yep. And that would not be the wise thing to do, would it?
There it is. There's that segue.
Little segue over to the folks at NGEMS. NGEMS is over 100 years of floor covering experience, and they are experts not only in floor covering, but they are also experts in saving you money. If you see Tony, Mark, and Julie at 2010 Oriskany Street West in NGEMS, you can find out for yourself. Their phone number is 733-0421. And today's words of wisdom, it being Friday, November 20th, we're going to go to Proverbs 20:18. Plans are established by seeking advice. So if you wage war, obtain guidance. A gossip betrays a confidence, so avoid anyone who talks too much. If someone curses their father or mother, their lamp will be snuffed out in pitch darkness. An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Do not say, "I'll pay you back for this wrong." Wait for the Lord, and he will avenge you.
I woke up with a broken heart in my chest. I couldn't sleep, couldn't get no rest. Weighed down by the heaviness of life. And I try to shake it, flipping through my phone, but all it does is make me feel more alone. How could anything that feels so wrong be right? 7 billion voices separate us, but only one can show us who we are. We are made in the image of God. Beautiful shades of love. We are made in the image of God. That's where the light comes from, yeah. We all need the same medicine. We all need another second chance. There's no first in line at the foot of the cross. Father, forgive me. Show my concrete heart. We are made in the image of God. Beautiful shades of love. We are made in the image of God. That's where the light comes from. We fall apart. We all lose sight of heaven. Still your love is chasing us. And oh, give me a heart for every heart that's breaking. And give me eyes to see we're so much more than flesh and blood. We are made in the image of God. Yeah, we are made in the image of God. Beautiful shades of love. We are made in the image of God. That's where the light comes from, yeah. Made in the image of that's where the light comes from, yeah.
It is 48 degrees out there. Feels like a heat wave compared to the day before yesterday, I'm telling you. Holy cow, going up Willard Mountain.
There to go fetch our backup transmitter, which is now giving us the ability to our new territory out there near Gloversville.
Yes.
St. Johnsville.
Very happy to have the folks out there to our east.
Saratoga Springs.
Yes, very nice.
Welcome,
very
everybody.
Nice. Absolutely. And it's that time again to take a look in the time machine to see what things happened on this day. All right, so on this day, a few years ago in 1272.
A few years ago,
Edward I proclaimed King of England after the death of his father, Henry III.
Edward I. Okay, so this is
Edward I, yes.
Bubonic plague times.
Yes.
Pre-Dark Ages.
He would take 2 years to return to England from the Ninth Crusade.
I was going to say, this is about the time of the Crusades.
Yes.
And one of the strange things about the Crusades, do you know how you get an army from England to Israel, North Africa, easily? Or the Middle East?
I don't, actually.
You put them in boats and you sail them around. So guess what they did?
Put them in boats and sail them around?
No, they walked.
No, they walked. I got you.
They walked through, all the way around Europe, around the Mediterranean, and then came in across the top of the Middle East.
Yeah. Oy, no thanks.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they were collecting tolls along the way. It's like, our army is here, pay up.
And in 1789, New Jersey, first state to ratify the Bill of Rights.
Oh.
1789.
That was a quite jump. Didn't anything happen between 1215 and 1789?
No, the Dark Ages.
All right. Oh, that's why. The press wasn't keeping up on that one.
Wasn't keeping up. That's right. In 1815, the Second Treaty of Paris, France and her allies agree that France will pay indemnities for the Battle of Waterloo, ending the Napoleonic Wars. That was in
no kidding.
1815 on this day.
Paid indemnities.
Yep.
To
it's funny. It doesn't say. France and her allies agree to pay indemnities after the Battle of Waterloo.
Why would they pay when they won the battle?
That's a very good question.
And Napoleon. Okay, so that was Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And France lost.
Yes.
So France had to pay.
Yep.
So France had to pay to the victors. Okay.
There
I
you
wonder
go.
what the indemnities were. Because one thing to think about this is the indemnities that we forced Germany to pay at the end of World War I is the reason that gave rise to some little guy from Vienna with a funny mustache.
Ah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I
And it
gotcha.
ended up being World War II. So, I
Yes.
mean, those things can backfire on you.
Also in 1815, okay, Russia, Prussia, Austria, and England signed an alliance for the maintenance of peace in Europe on the same day as the Treaty of Paris.
Oh, they're trying to keep those Napoleon characters in their place.
There you go.
But he didn't stay on the island of Elba. He actually got away and came back.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe he already did that by that time.
It's a good question.
I'm not sure.
You're going to have to look that up. 1861, secession ordinance filed in Kentucky's Confederate government.
Oh.
Yes.
They're leaving us.
Yes.
That's not going to work. We're going to go to war.
We're going to go to war.
Yeah, it's called the Civil War.
1866, the first national convention of the Grand Army of the Republic. Okay.
So
yes.
that answers that question.
That answers
Guess he's back.
He's back.
Napoleon.
Yep. In 1945, the Nuremberg war trials began as 24 Nazi leaders put on trial before judges representing the victorious Allied powers. That was 1945.
This is the first time in the world that people from other countries got together and formed a court and actually tried to prove in a court that there were injustices done.
Yeah.
And it was left to an American lawyer to do the defense for the Germans. He did a good job. Although he wasn't necessarily, that happy in his position.
Right.
If you were trying to prove that Germany did something,
yeah,
he was like, you guys are going to have to come up with evidence. And what law is it that you are coming up with? What are you charging them with?
Right.
Okay. So actually, there was a worldwide scramble at the Nuremberg. It's like, well, if we are going to do this, and this guy is actually defending them, we're actually going to have a system that is going to work to be in place to have these set of laws. So one of the things that happens at the Nuremberg rally is you actually see kind of like this worldwide state actually congeal and say, yes, there are worldwide rights, and we're going to have to establish them, and this is going to have to work. And there's all sorts of other cool stuff that came out of there, too.
Yeah. In 1959, WABC fires Alan Freed over the payola scandal. You remember payola?
On the game show?
This would be this would be having to do with music, playing music. So this is WABC in New York. Yes, firing Alan Freed because he was taking money.
He was taking money to play the songs that would make him hits, and so his kickbacks,
yeah,
scenario there.
Yeah, hey,
you know what it's like being one of those big DJs. You know, and how about a little toot for the snoot?
Big business and music, and it goes a lot. Back in those days, radio was the way you got
the way you can establish corruption.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. In 1962, the USSR agrees to remove bombers from Cuba, and the U.S. lifts the blockade.
Bombs from Cuba, nuclear bombs,
the nukes,
the nuke bombs from Cuba. Now, the other thing that happened, in order to get John F. Kennedy to make Russia agree to pull the nukes out of Cuba, which was the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yep.
We had Jupiter missiles in Turkey.
Yep.
Right on the border of Russia, and this doesn't come out that much. But what they said was, okay, you pull the nukes out of Cuba, we'll pull our nukes out of Turkey.
Yep.
So, and actually, the U.S. Air Force was kind of happy that they did that because the Jupiter missiles were really tough to maintain.
Yeah.
And they're even harder to maintain when they're over
Yeah.
On some mountain airport in Turkey.
Uh-huh.
You know, you try to keep these liquid-fueled missiles ready to go at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And you run out of lots of liquid hydrogen real quick.
Yeah. I bet.
You know that coefficient of expansion?
Yeah.
It's really big for hydrogen when it goes from a liquid to a gas.
Oh, yeah. And on this day in 1965, a little closer to home, WCNY-TV, Channel 24 in Syracuse, begins broadcasting.
Oh, no kidding.
On this day in history.
Back when I was a youngster in high school, we lived up in Lee Center on the hill on the edge of the, what do they call it, where the snow... Tug Hill Plateau.
Tug Hill Plateau, yep.
The Tug Hill Plateau. We could get 2, 3, 5, and 9. And if the wind was blowing right, we could get 24.
Nice. And in 1982, Drew Barrymore, fresh off the E.T. Success, hosts Saturday Night Live at age 7.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I do not remember that one.
Yes, that happened on this day.
At age 7?
At age 7.
Wow, how cool.
That's a crazy one.
Oh.
In 1984, the SETI Institute, the search for...
SETI.
That's right, founded on this day.
Oh, they're still looking.
They're still looking.
Evidence...
Of extraterrestrials.
They're there.
They're there, yes. In 1985, Microsoft Windows 1.0 released as a follow. Well, because the Mac OS was released, the graphical user interface, the original
GUI.
Macintosh, the GUI, was released in 1984. So 1 year later, Microsoft released Microsoft Windows 1.0, which was not a huge commercial success.
Oh,
but it was released.
See, now we're getting into
in
the realm where
1985.
you're gonna know. I just know old dusty stuff.
That's it.
And my coefficient of expansion isn't quite like hydrogen.
Yeah, Microsoft's first peek at the graphical user interface was when Bill Gates was given a copy of the Apple Lisa. You remember the Lisa, which was the computer that predated the Macintosh. It was the first one to have a graphic user interface, but it was very expensive, did not sell well. It was a real commercial flop.
Okay.
But Bill Gates looked at this thing and says, why don't we have that? And that's when the development of Windows 1.0 started.
For all of you out there, I am a pre-GUI person. Okay, there are people, a lot of people out there that have no idea that when you used to have to address a computer, you had to sit down and you had to type code in a line.
Yep.
Okay, and your results came back in lines.
Yeah.
Okay, there wasn't any pictures of anything. You actually had to sit down. What was it? Something like colon. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Go to.
Yeah. Well, I believe it or not, I'm also a pre-GUI guy.
You're a pre-GUI guy?
I used to know the basics of BASIC. Print. You
got to line 10 is da-da-da-da.
Yep.
And the reason why you did line 10, 20, 30, 40 is because you're going to find out that you screwed something up. So let's put in a line 12.
Yes. Exactly. And on this day in 1988, Bill Elliott wins the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Back then it was the Winston Cup. The Winston Cup Championship. And that's relevant because his son just won this year's
no kidding.
Sprint Cup Championship.
I was busboy at NASCAR Driver of the Year in Daytona Beach.
Nice. Very nice. It is.
And it was the Winston Cup then.
Yes, the Winston Cup. It is the top of the hour. Your weather is brought to you by Forever Leather.
Forever Leather. Charlie Seeley and his herd of leather goods out there. He has got leather coats, leather jackets, leather gloves, leather hats. He also has motorcycle helmets. Maybe you want to get somebody a motorcycle helmet. They're not leather.
They're not leather, no.
But he does have some other cool stuff like sunglasses and stuff like that out there. But the one thing Charlie doesn't have is space. Because he has got so much leather goods there, his herd is kind of crowded in.
It's kind of crowded in.
So you might want to send Charlie's employees go swimming for some samples for you when you get there.
Exactly. 315-734-0922, and he's running a great deal on coats right now. It's like half off.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like 40 to 50%. Great deal down there at Forever Leather.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Friday, look for mainly cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 50s. For tonight, skies will be mostly cloudy as our lows will be near 40. For tomorrow, Saturday, we will see cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 40s. For Saturday night, we can expect cloudy skies in the evening with a chance for snow showers developing late. Our lows will be around 35. For the long-range outlook, temperatures will be more near normal as we will see partly cloudy skies skies into the weekend with a few chances for rain and snow showers for the early part of our new week. Thanksgiving looks to be partly cloudy and seasonable. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New
First
York.
on your FM dial, WVVC Dolgeville, Utica, Rome. Inspo Radio 88.1 FM.
Bells will be ringing, the sad, sad news. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone, I have no friends to wish me greeting once again. Choirs will be singing Silent Night, Christmas carol by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Please come home for Christmas. If not for Christmas, by New Year's night. Friends and relations send salutations. Sure as the stars shine above. Well, this is Christmas. Yes, Christmas, my dear. It's the time of year to be with the one you love. So won't you tell me you'll never more roam? Christmas and New Year will find you home. There'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy, happy once again. Ooh, there'll be no more sorrow, no grief and pain, and I'll be happy Christmas once again.
Yeah, that's from 1978. Thanks for indulging me right there. That was not exactly a certified Christian tune, but it's one of my favorite Christmas songs. So
Little Christmas getaway there.
yeah,
Al.
I like the bluesy stuff, and that just fits the bill for me.
Yeah.
You
Don
Don Henley.
Don Henley there
and
on doing his vocals, and it seems. What are you afraid you're going to be alone for Christmas now? You got 7 kids.
I probably will never be alone.
You're probably
ever
wishing that you could be alone.
When we moved into our house, one thing that we noticed is outside of the bathroom, none of the bedrooms or rooms, none of them had doors.
Oh.
So privacy in the house was like, okay, that's something we're going to have to build in.
I'm sure you ameliorated that situation
Yes.
quickly.
Yeah. I like the ideas of the teenagers not having doors on their rooms.
Yeah.
You know? But as far as the rest of the house, I don't know. You know.
I remember that when I was a teenager, a lot of times my parents were like, "You leave the door open."
Uh-huh.
I was like, "What do I got to leave the door open for?" Leave the door open.
Leave the door open.
What do I got to leave the door open? I said, leave the door open.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the door's staying open.
Door's staying open. Door's staying open. Your news update brought to you by Dr. Uniforms, 1311 Oriskany Street West in Utica.
Yes.
If you're a professional, need professional garb.
Like a shiny new toque. And by
Yeah.
toque, we mean chef's hat.
Yes.
You know, and also if you need a cool chef's jacket, he has got that professional kind of gear. And if you want to spifficate your scrubs,
yes.
he's got spiffy looking scrubs there.
Very nice.
And he also has the kind of shoes that can keep you on your feet. all day long.
And I tell you, if you work in the medical profession or you work in the law enforcement profession, that goes a long,
where
long
you're going to
way.
be spending your day on your feet.
Exactly. 315-266-0093, Dr. Uniforms.
Now, your local headlines from the Breakfast Club.
Okay, so off the top, Kansas man charged with attempted murder. Okay, this is another one of our bonehead of the day kind of things. They're saying he intentionally hit a pedestrian in the town of Hartwick. Okay, this is according to the Otsego County Sheriff's Office. This guy apparently was high, drunk, just crazy.
Driving a
car. George Wang, 23 years old, arrested on Wednesday, charged with attempted murder, vehicular assault, and operating the motor vehicle impaired by drugs and driving while intoxicated. Authorities say he was under the influence on State Route 28 when he drove off of the road onto a grassy area by the Tops Plaza, hitting a pedestrian. Absolutely crazy.
Yes.
Witnesses say he sped away from the scene without stopping. The victim, listed in stable condition, being treated for multiple injuries from the accident. Deputies located the suspected vehicle near Route 28 and the I-88 interchange with apparent front-end damage. Wang was pulled over, taken into custody, and arraigned, currently being held in the Otsego County Jail.
Where was the accident at?
Well, okay, it's on 28. Now, here's the thing. I think Hartwick,
Oh, he was in Hartwick.
He was actually in Hartwick.
Okay, so he got like 10, 20 miles down the road.
Hartwick Seminary is really where it was, outside of Cooperstown. Yeah, he got down the road toward Oneonta, where the I-88
he didn't get
exchange
that
was.
far.
No, he didn't, which is a good thing.
Yes.
It's a testament to our law enforcement.
Good job, sheriffs. We're going to be talking about you later on.
Yeah, absolutely. And a Rome man indicted on several sex charges after authorities say he allegedly had sexual contact with multiple children ages 6 through 15. He was arrested and charged with one count of first-degree criminal sexual act in September after allegedly sexually abusing a 10-year-old girl in the spring and early summer. Remanded to the Oneida County Sheriff's Facility after arrest on $25,000 bail or $50,000 bond. At that time, the Oneida County Sheriff's Office said more charges were expected, and they did come. One count of predatory sexual assault against a child, a felony. One count of first-degree criminal act, sexual act, that's a B felony. One count of first-degree attempted criminal sexual act, C felony, and 3 counts of first-degree sexual abuse, all D felonies, and there's even more than that.
Oh, boy.
But all of the children have been offered services through the Child Advocacy Center and orders of protection, of course, in place for all those children. And Bethlehem police looking for a missing adult. They say 22-year-old Eliza Dearleen has autism, may be suicidal, and in need of medical attention. She was last seen on Kenwood Ave in Delmar around 2:30 Thursday and may be headed north on I-87. She's 5 feet 4 inches tall, 160 pounds, with brown hair, hazel eyes. She was last seen wearing a purple jacket, black jeans, purple face mask, and carrying a purple bag. She likes purple. Police believe she might be heading to Plattsburgh. Anybody with information has to call 518-439-9973 or 911. And
of course she's depressed. She's going to Plattsburgh.
And an adolescent male has been taken into custody by the city police, charged with second-degree arson in connection with a fire at a 3-family home on Montgomery Street in Gloversville last week. It displaced 5 residents. The male was one of several individuals located and detained for questioning by police on Friday during an execution of a search warrant on 77 East Fulton Street as part of the investigation into the November 9th fire on Montgomery Street. Okay, that male, whose name has not been released due to his age, located by police in the residence on Friday, taken into custody and charged with second-degree arson, which is a Class B felony. And the male was processed as an adolescent offender and arraigned in the Fulton County Youth Court on November 13th.
Oh, boy.
All right, your WVVC gas tracker brought to you by Big Dog Motors in Frankfort.
Big Dog Motors, where Todd Gookin's got everything you need to keep your wheels rolling smooth. Could be mechanical work, could be body work, and if you do need body work, maybe you need some help with that deductible.
Yeah, maybe you veered off the road and hit a pedestrian. You need something, a little bit of work on the front of your car.
The reason you don't want a fender bender.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Todd Gookin can help you out there. He's got the tow trucks. He's got everything you need to keep yourself going. He can do inspections, big boy inspections. And
Inspect your Learjet.
Yes.
Oh, maybe not, but maybe not that big, but yeah. All right, 315-444-9028 is the number. BigDogMotorsInc.com is the web address. They're located at 4262 Acme Road in Frankfort. Cheapest gas today, put that membership to use. It's BJ's, $2.07. Mohawk Fuel down there on 291 is $2.11. Speedway on North Genesee Street, $2.19. Speedway on Oriskany Boulevard, $2.19. And that ends our 219 club. Sunoco and A+ on Kellogg Road, $2.21. Adirondack Food and Fuel, right down at the bottom of the hills, $2.22. And Citgo on Oneida Street's $2.27. Those are your cheapest options today. So what's going on outside the area, Walt?
Well, right around our local home here in New York State, okay, before we get too far out. Speaking of sheriffs, with regard to the Thanksgiving executive order, the Fulton County Sheriff's Office will not be enforcing it against our county residents. The county sheriff wrote in a Facebook post. Mr. Cuomo said, it's frightening to me that arrogant sheriffs won't enforce my COVID restrictions over Thanksgiving.
Yeah, arrogant.
I don't believe as a law enforcement you have the right to pick and choose what laws you will enforce.
I will say this. Cuomo is an expert in arrogance.
Yes,
he's got a lot of experience.
He would know arrogance, and he would know egotistical arrogance. I would say that he knows that very well.
He's an expert.
And because he stands up at a press conference and says that there should be no more than 10 people at a Thanksgiving gathering, it's not a law. Okay, so just because you say something off the top of your head, like remember the thing where he was saying that, it's like I think we should close down theaters and we should close down this and we should do that
by decree of the king.
It is astounding whole sequence on how idiotic our governor has gone. And speaking of idiotic, I mean, if Biden becomes in place, this is the guy that they want to put in charge of the Secretary of State. He's going to be the person responsible for discoursing with foreign nations as one of our primary leaders.
I feel like Hillary Clinton said, "Hey, I'm the worst Secretary of State ever," and Cuomo said, "Here, hold my drink." That's the way.
I'll show you how it's done badly.
I'll show you how to do this badly.
Washington County Sheriff Jeff Murphy said there won't be any Thanksgiving enforcements of Cuomo's restrictions, the New York Post reported. And Saratoga County Sheriff Michael Zerlo said Monday this also goes for his jurisdiction as well. He said, I can't see how devoting our resources to counting cars in citizens' driveways or investigating how much turkey and dressing they've purchased is for the public good, Zerlo said. Erie County Sheriff Tim Howard says his office would also ignore the gathering limit.
Yes. I know Todd Hood, who's the Montgomery County Sheriff, I believe, said the same thing.
Cuomo told reporters Wednesday that it's an executive order. It's a law. And that the issue has been litigated.
No, it hasn't.
He then spoke as if he was a sheriff defying his COVID-19 restrictions. Well, I don't believe in that law, and therefore I won't enforce it. It's frankly frightening to me as an individual, frightening to democracy. It's arrogant, and it violates your constitutional duty.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Under the Obama administration, you want to talk about ignoring laws, okay? Because that's one thing that they did under the Obama administration. Everything from marijuana. You remember when marijuana became legal on the state levels, and he decided that, we're not going to enforce that on the federal level. Just period. We're just not going to enforce it anymore. Same kind of story. It's okay. What's good for the goose is not good for the gander, apparently.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are going to be at the at Gracie Mansion there on Thanksgiving. How many people is Cuomo going to have over the course of late next week?
I have a feeling it's more than 10.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
But
we're supposed to stay at home. Oh, by the way, AOC, I don't know if you saw, AOC says that the government should pay people to stay home.
Pay people to stay home.
That's
how you're going to eliminate COVID, is you're going to pay people to stay home.
My going rate is $500 a day, AOC, so go ahead and make that check payable.
Per person.
Two. Yeah. $500 a day. I'll stay home.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to make life easier. I'm going to stay home for $250 a day.
Okay.
So this way you don't have to pay out.
There you go. There you go. Yep.
So AOC, it's amazing how a person who has graduated with an economics degree is so clueless.
So economically stupid.
Yeah, she is a clueless wonder.
And she's one of the rising superstars in the Democratic Party. I can't figure out how this girl got elected the first time. And, she's easily held on. But then again, she does give us good entertainment. The problem becomes when the entertainment becomes reality, like the Green New Deal. Man, if that actually took place, if that became the law of the land,
that $5 gas price that we're talking about in the near future, if the Biden administration becomes in place,
under AOC,
going to be a $15.
Under AOC, you wouldn't be able to buy gas. You can't fly anymore. You can't own a car.
You can row the boat to Hawaii.
You can row the boat to Hawaii.
Yes.
Yeah. Pedal your bicycle.
Yep.
Don't be passing gas now. All right, because greenhouse.
The greenhouse
effect. Yeah. Don't be doing that. I'm telling you, it looks just ridiculous.
And this whole thing, the whole approach that the Democrats are taking towards the country.
Mm-hmm.
Can you honestly believe that this country elected Joe Biden?
I don't. I actually really don't.
Okay. So you have some faith in the dispute that's being put out about the election results.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big conference yesterday. The Trump lawyers laid out voter fraud cases in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they said that this is going to be our opening on how we are going to approach the voter fraud situations.
Yeah.
Okay. And the press is screaming, well, you're not showing us any evidence. And they said the reason why we're not bringing forth witnesses in front of you is the same reason that our lawyer in Pennsylvania has dropped the case. Because they were like, well, you guys don't have any cases out there, and your cases have been dismissed all over the place.
Yeah.
And they said, wait a minute. There's been a lot of cases, but they weren't our cases.
Yes.
The only case we have had dismissed is the one where the lawyer asked to be dismissed from the case because he was bodily threatened, and his family was threatened.
That's right.
And he would like to be around for Thanksgiving. Okay? So he was intimidated.
In some ways,
he was bullied into stepping down.
In some ways, it's worse than mafia tactic, if you think about it. This is literally, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Hey,
I
look,
can't
Mr.
even.
Lawyer, you don't want to take that case, or you don't want to be the turkey in the oven on Thanksgiving, do you?
Vinny and Lou be coming to visit you.
Yeah. We got Salvatore in the car. He's waiting for us, So if you want me to leave quick, you're going to drop this case now.
Yeah. Insane.
It's crazy. So Trump's legal team accused Democrats and election officials Thursday of widespread voter fraud that, if rectified, would flip the projected outcome of the November 3rd election to a victory for the president. And I'm reading from the Washington Times here. One of the things he said is, we have more than double the number of votes needed to overturn the election in terms of provable illegal ballots. This was a disgraceful thing that was done to this country. Though they passionately presented their terms, neither Mr. Giuliani nor Mrs. Powell provided hard evidence supporting their accusations of conspiracy or manipulating voter software. But they did speak about how these machines are easily manipulated.
Yep.
And actually, something we've discussed is on a Glenn Beck program. Glenn Beck said these machines are not easily manipulated in one way. They are very easily manipulated in about 5 ways.
Yeah.
And that could be before the election, while the election is happening, because the Dominion voting machines that are used in 28 states, you could do a little software programming where you could say that a vote for President Trump is equal to 0.8.
Yeah.
And you can say that a vote for Biden is equal to 1.3.
Right.
Okay? So that now you have this ratio so that in Michigan, if I know that we are the ratio of voters is this to this, and we're going to need a 20% margin in order to be successful, then I can program that into the machine.
Yeah.
And then after, when you take the chip out of the machine with the results, okay, there's ways of manipulating that.
Yeah.
So the conclusion that the expert on the Glenn Beck show came to was these machines are basically built to be manipulated.
Yeah.
And these are the machines that are used in elections around the world. So if you're in the Philippines or if you're in Venezuela or if you're somewhere else and you want to win by a landslide when you know the population hates your guts, like in Venezuela, okay, you use these machines and you put in your special program.
Yeah. It's the special sauce.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me. Not the special sauce, the special software.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can do that. And by the way, please don't believe me. Download the Dominion user's manual where it tells you how to do this.
Yeah.
It's in the manual. And then, by the way, if you're concerned that you want your results on this machine to be secure, your security risk, the risk, according to the manual, is high.
Yeah.
It's a high security risk. In other words, something can very easily go wrong, and it's not that hard to manipulate. Also, at this press conference yesterday, Mr. Giuliani said witnesses claim a truck pulled up to the counting center in Detroit at 4:30 a.m. after the polls closed November 3rd with stacks of Biden ballots. About 50,000 of these were triple counted, according to witnesses. The ballots were produced very quickly, very swiftly, and what do you know? Mr. Trump trails Mr. Biden by 155,606 votes.
I think I figured this out. You remember years ago when they said the average family has 2.5 children?
Yeah.
I think what those are is they're counting each of the 0.5s or the 0.25s, and they're running them through to get a whole person.
Right.
That's what that's about, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
They are
we figured it out.
Manipulating results.
That's it.
Okay, by the way, these machines are in Georgia. And by the way, Georgia is where we talked about they had these perfect ballots, okay, that didn't even have a crease in them. These perfect mail-in ballots that had, like, the dot was printed for who they elected because it was such a perfect little dot. Okay, and they had hundreds and thousands of these ballots, and the ballots didn't even have a crease in them, but in order to mail the mail-in ballot, you have to fold it in half.
Right. Yeah.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you're looking forward to the new Biden administration coming in, be it known that Joe Biden is looking at left-wing individuals that are filling the board that are going to recommend who gets put into cabinet positions and who gets put into other positions.
Yeah.
These organizations include people like from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and the Century Foundation and the California Community Foundation.
Wow.
Okay? So I want you to imagine that if the Biden administration moves in, the uber left is already starting to line up people to fill positions in the Biden administration. Something to look forward to, eh?
Yeah. Hey, did you see Fox News reported about an hour ago that the squad, which is the AOC Crazy Squad, is rallying outside the DNC now to pressure Biden into embracing the Green New Deal. So, we got things going on right now.
The Green New Deal, which is going to cost us trillions.
Mm-hmm.
Trillions.
Yep.
And it is like, again, we have a person that has a quote-unquote economic degree.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, either her training was that bad, or she is that dumb, or she has been that manipulated.
Yeah. She's a member of
or all of the above.
All of the above. She's a member of the safe space generation. You know, if it,
safe space?
Yes, if you hurt my feelings, I need to retreat to my closet, my safe space.
Oh my gosh.
That generation.
And I'm going to put my boyfriend in charge of my campaign, and he is going to make lots of money.
Lots of money, yes.
Okay, but please don't look at that.
Yes.
Okay, because I have an economics degree.
Yeah. AOC, the head of the Crazy Squad.
Now, one thing we can say about Trump and his complaints on the election fraud and everything like that is we are burning daylight. You do have to come up with evidence. Now, there are a lot of things that point to huge amounts of corruption, and including statistical evidence, okay? But somehow or other, you have to prove this. And what is the date? I think is it December 14th?
I think so, yeah.
If you don't have court cases proven by December 14th, you're running out of options.
Yeah.
And running a court case in that small amount of time, you have less than a month. You are going to have to see that. And there are figures out there, for instance, Tucker Carlson, that are saying, look, where is the evidence?
Yeah.
Okay? I know that you're talking about witnesses and you're talking about this and you're showing me some statistical evidence, but you're going to have to show me some hard facts, or you're going to have to bring it up in court really soon and get it proven. Okay? So, although there was a big conference and they talked about, yes, we have witnesses. No, we don't want to tell you who the witnesses are because you guys are, you're doxing the witnesses.
Yeah.
Okay. In other words, I'm going to say where Al lives. So everybody that doesn't like Al, you go to his house, you threaten his family, you threaten his children, you do those kind of things. That's what we mean by doxing.
Yep.
And which the Democrats are very good at.
Yeah, they're pros.
Yep. For instance, remember the couple that tried to defend their house out there in St. Louis when they were holding the guns out there, and now they're being charged with something that was legal.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
That's an example of doxing.
Yep.
Okay, in Arizona, they are saying that the election is not over. They are still counting. There is a Republican governor in Arizona, and he wants to assure the nation that we're going to continue counting, and we're going to look for a good count.
Yep.
So the governor of Arizona is saying it ain't over.
There you go.
And he says that about 75,000 votes still need to be counted.
Very interesting.
It's like, I hope he's got a good lid on it, because to me, the more time you allow, the more opportunity there is for
shenanigans.
As W.C. Fields would put it, chicanery.
Chicanery.
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. So it is 8:32 out there. And it is time for the bottom of the hour weather, which is brought to you by the folks at Media Partners Group. Media Partners Group, 768-0277 is their phone number, located at 188 Main Street in New York Mills. They can take your old films, your old videotapes, and your old slides and get them digitized. Put them on a DVD or a hard drive or a thumb drive, whichever it is that you prefer. Media Partners Group.
Now, your Breakfast Club weather forecast.
Hello, everyone. I am Kevin James with a quick check of your WVVC weather forecast. For today, Friday, look for mainly cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 50s. For tonight, skies will be mostly cloudy as our lows will be near 40. For tomorrow, Saturday, we will see cloudy skies. Our highs will be in the upper 40s. For Saturday night, we can expect cloudy skies in the evening with a chance for snow showers developing late. Our lows will be around 35. For the long-range outlook, temperatures will be more near normal as we will see partly cloudy skies into the weekend with a few chances for rain and snow showers for the early part of our new week. Thanksgiving looks to be partly cloudy and seasonable. With your weather forecast, I'm Kevin James on WVVC Utica, New York.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe
And a Walt to do all the work. Welcome, everybody, to Miss Kimmy Garden Report. Welcome, Miss Kimmy.
Hi. It's toward the end of November.
It is towards the end of November. We basically have the garden kind of, sort of.
I'm going to get into that, but you're
you're
jumping the gun because I like to start my segment sometimes with a poem or some little bit of wisdom or saying or folklore about the season. So I have a piece of poem. Oh. You know my favorite poet.
Yes, I do. Robert Frost.
Robert Frost is one of America's poets, and he was from New England and wrote poems having to do with country life, country living, a lot of observations on nature and the outdoors. And very often I quote little pieces of his poems. So I have a little portion of a poem called Star Splitter. Oh? Walt, what is your favorite constellation?
Orion.
Yes, this is about Orion. So I don't know if you're familiar with this. My phone just has, okay. It's called the Star Splitter. You know, Orion always comes up sideways, throwing a leg up over the fence of mountains, and rising on his hands, he looks in on me, busy outdoors by lantern light with something I should have done by daylight. And indeed, after the ground is frozen, I should have done it before it froze. And the poem goes on, but that's about where we are today, isn't it?
Yeah.
You want to explain about Orion? What do you say? Orion coming up sideways, throwing a leg over the mountains.
The way Orion comes over the horizon. Orion is only visible in the winter.
By the way, what is Orion? What is Orion?
Orion is a constellation that will rise kind of like towards the east.
But what's it represent? How would you describe
the hunter?
Yes, okay, that's what it's
and he has he looks like a man with a sword. Okay, according to the thing. But as the evening goes on in the winter months, when Orion rises, he actually is kind of like laying on his side. Okay. And the first thing that comes up would be the stars that form his leg. So as he rolls through the sky, it looks like he's laying down kind of, and through the course of the evening, he will be standing up.
Interesting.
Okay, and there he is with his sword and his 3 stars across his belt, which make Beetlejuice is one of the stars in the belt.
Yes.
and then he will go down again. And only in the winter months is the Earth tilted so that you can see this southern constellation.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it is only a winter constellation. You start seeing it.
So when Orion's leg comes over the horizon, it is late fall.
There you go.
Yeah, so you definitely see it high in the sky in the winter. Maybe we'll talk more about that later with the dog star.
See, Al, how we increase your coefficient of expansion?
How about that?
So yes, we do have chores to do. I am thankful that today is a nice warm day. I have a list of chores for you, Walt. You want to take a pencil and paper? Take a note. So what we have to do is, these are things I should have done before, and but I have one more day of reprieve. So there's still daffodil bulbs to plant. I want to dig a little more horseradish. I already went out and dug some, but I want to do that and preserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got pots that need to be put away, all kinds of plantings. And
You certainly do.
And this is we want to rake and mulch the leaves. I think that's something that
we got to
would be
get
good
them
for you
out.
to do.
It is highly advisable to get the leaves all the way out of the driveway, okay, especially the ones that are stuck along the fence, because when it snows, the snowblower does not chuck leaves.
Snowblower doesn't like to eat leaves?
No.
All right, so we're going to take those leaves and we're going to cover the roses with the leaves, put a nice layer of mulch to protect them. And then I have some beds that I've prepared that are all nicely compost on them. I dug out the weeds and things, so I want to cover those with some black plastic. And note to self, Kim, I have some flower seeds of flowers, certain kinds of flowers that I want to just sprinkle in my flower bed so they'll come up early spring. I usually don't do that, but that's a good way to get some more flowers in there. So that's the list of the garden chores. So you know what you're doing after you come home from.
I thought those were your chores.
Oh no, sweetie, oh no. Okay, so that is it for garden chores right now. The gardening season is finishing up. Oh, by the way, going back to chores, we're going to have too much to do this, but if you've been a very good gardener and probably kept up with most of your things, like my friend Gary in East Utica, one thing that's nice to do, and you should be doing this time of year, is to go and clean up your tools. So, normally you use your spade or your shovel, and you just take it and stick it in whatever rack or tool corral you put it in. This would be a good time to clean it off and to sharpen it and oil it down, something we don't do, but those of you who are on top of things, that would be a really good thing to do.
So when were you going to do that?
We don't. So what does a busy gardener do when there's no gardening to do, or very, very, very little gardening to do? Well, there's still plenty to do. If you've done any kind of gardening, or even if you haven't, but you've gone to the farmers markets and you've bought some of the nice bounty from the people out there who do grow, one of the things that's really good to do this time of year is lacto-fermenting.
Lacto-fermenting.
Yes. Lacto always reminds me of milk, like...
Yes.
But it has nothing to do with milk.
Mm-hmm.
Lacto-fermenting is very easy. It is a very, very easy way to preserve food. And the best example of lacto-fermenting I can give you is sauerkraut. Do you like sauerkraut, Al?
I actually don't. I'm one of those guys.
I love sauerkraut. I have been known to eat a sauerkraut sandwich.
My wife loves sauerkraut. I'm not so much.
Okay, sauerkraut is really, really good for you. So first of all, let's do a definition of lacto-fermenting. To lacto-ferment, you want to put vegetables in an anaerobic environment.
Anaerobic?
You know what that means, Walt.
What's her name again?
Anaerobic? Anaerobic. And that means without oxygen. Without oxygen. So what you do is submerge vegetables in a brine, salt and water. That's it. You keep them totally covered up, and we'll get into that detail in a moment. And what that does is that produces lactic acid. The sugars in the vegetables turn to lactic acid. And that lactic acid is really good. It forms what's called lactobacillus.
Interesting.
It's a bacteria. It's a good bacteria. You heard that your gut has got good bacteria and bad bacteria. If you have gut problems, the bad bacteria are higher in number.
Right.
If you've got a healthy gut, you've got lots of good bacteria in there. So eating lacto-fermented food, sauerkraut, or some of these other things that I'm going to talk about, that's really good for gut health. It's full of probiotics, bacteria. So it's full of the good stuff. So if your gut is off for various reasons,
actually,
eating a spoonful a day of this lacto-fermented food is good. All you need is a spoonful a day instead of going to the drugstore and buying that probiotic supplement.
Kaopectate type stuff.
No, I'm just thinking the probiotic supplement.
Yeah, the probiotics with the dudes. Yeah. But I don't know, lactobacillic, it sounds kind of like the guy that's waiting out in the car. Salvatore, lactobacillic.
So eating a spoonful of lacto-ferment fermented food. It does some good things. It strengthens your immune system. We want this time of year especially, So strength, that's all good. And it, this is the part I like, it regulates the appetite.
Oh.
So
Does it?
Yes, it does. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to, I've made a little bit of a lacto-ferment before several times, but now I really want to put really start doing it. So last night, I went and got the last of the Brussels sprouts, and I also happened to have a little bit of leftover cauliflower. I had a large glass container, and I lacto-fermented. I put them in a brine, and they're going to be fermenting. So what you do...
How did you make the brine?
Well, I guess I can get to that now. The brine is a ratio generally, for most vegetables, 4 cups of water to 2 tablespoons of not your table salt, but either canning salt or sea salt. The table salt has iodine and some other little things in it, maybe something to keep it from caking.
Yeah.
So you want that. So that's basically your basic brine.
That's easy to do.
Very, very, and cheap. 2 spoons of salt. If you need, your regular amount. You might need more water. You might need less depending on the amount of vegetables you're doing. So here are some of the things. You can do any vegetable, but some work a little bit better than others. Your basic thing is carrots. You'll want to grate your carrots or cut them up into small slices. You can do green beans, peppers, radishes, beets, broccoli, cauliflowers, and whole small cucumbers.
Whole cucumbers?
Small ones, the pickling cucumbers.
Oh, yeah.
Your real
the little
pickles.
goikins?
Your real pickles. A gherkin is a type of pickled cucumber with certain spices. So that's different. It's like a bread and butter pickle. There's gherkins. It's a size, but it's also got a flavor to it.
Is a pickle just a lacto-fermented cucumber?
Not necessarily, because you could also pickle them by pouring a vinegar and sugar or a vinegar solution with different spices. So, for example, I can ferment a dill pickle by taking a small pickle, putting it into a salt brine, along with maybe a little garlic, lots of dill, maybe a few peppercorns, and I will make a fermented dill pickle. Or I can do where I'm taking that dill pickle, putting in the peppercorn, the garlic, the dill, and pouring basically vinegar and water over it.
Who lacto knew?
Yeah.
I lactoed that knowledge.
I lacto a lot of knowledge.
So we were talking about the brine. So that's just really easy. You dissolve your salt in the water in proportion, and then the fun part comes where you flavor your vegetables, and there's a number of different ways. You could do a few thin slices of onion. You could put in some whole garlic, or in this case I had very large garlic cloves. I just cut them in half. You could put in peppercorns, any combination of it. You could put in dill, oregano, basil, I did cauliflower yesterday, and I just put a dill because that's what I had. But you could put in something even like curry powder if you wanted a curry flavored, pickled, fermented. That would be the real word, fermented cauliflower. You've heard of kimchi? Kimchi is a lacto-ferment. It just happens to have a lot of cabbage and a lot of hotter things that I don't like the hot peppers.
Yeah,
and
it's actually supposed to be a very
that.
hot food.
Yes,
right?
but
Spicy.
It's also
Spicy
lacto-fermented, so it's good for you. And I think the hot peppers, of course, are good for you too, but it's just something that I don't have. You could put in fennel. I know you love the fennel seeds in there, chili peppers. And what you want to do is you can do this, keep this right on your kitchen shelf, keep it fermented and it'll start bubbling as long as it's submersed. It's okay. After a while, a number of days, 30 days, taste it, and if it's sour enough, put them in little canning jars or glass jars, and put them in your cool it down. Put it in your refrigerator. Put it on a back steps, unheated porch, and to slow down or stop the ferment and enjoy it all winter long.
So that is the one thing that when I saw Miss Kimmy doing this, you do have to keep whatever you're going to keep in there has to stay under the liquid. So you put something on top of it that will make sure that, like if you're doing the cauliflower, you don't have cauliflower that's sticking up in the air. Everything has to be under the water, so it will be anaerobic.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I made sure it was submerged, and I'll be checking on this once in a while. So Happy Thanksgiving. We're not going to be here next week, are we, Al?
Not for most of it. I do believe that Monday we might get behind the microphone, but
this is my last time before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving,
so
yeah.
I want to talk about Thanksgiving a little bit.
I'm going to take a long week to put Band-Aids on the transmitter.
So, 1621.
1621.
First Thanksgiving.
Shortly after. Oh, I was going to say shortly after the Pilgrims got here.
Yes. So I looked up.
Which actually, one of the problems that the Pilgrims had was their experiment in socialism.
Yeah.
Wasn't that successful, which is why they became dependent upon the natives to be fed. Yeah. Just a little example in case AOC needs some information.
Yeah.
But I think our coefficient of expansion really isn't that great.
The Indian tribe that interacted with the Pilgrims was the Wampanoag. And one of the interesting things about Wampanoag is, and I've noticed this with looking into backgrounds of several Indian tribes, maybe more than several, is they may not have known who God is.
Yep.
They don't have the revelation of God the way we understand it, but yet they understood that there was a being that they called the Creator.
Yep.
So every year, and this went way, way back into Wampanoag history, they would have set aside a day where they would give thanks to the great Creator for their harvest. So they came together with the Pilgrims, who, of course, left England in search of religious liberty so that they could worship God. And after that failed success in failed experiment in socialism, when they did have some food, they got together with the Wampanoags, and this is the kinds of things they ate. Now, we all know what we enjoy for Thanksgiving, and I think most people think of the same things, but they may have had turkey, but that wasn't the highlight of it. They had venison, they had waterfowl, they had lobster, eels and shellfish and clams probably. They ate berries and fruit. Passenger pigeons, probably a lot of passenger pigeons, which are now extinct. They clouded the skies with passenger pigeons. They had pumpkins and squash. They had corn, but it was probably served maybe something like a cornbread or corn porridge. Chestnuts and walnuts and beech nuts and filberts. And maybe even they might have planted a few carrots and onions and garlic. We're not sure about that, turnips, but a few years later, that was definitely written about in their gardens. So that was a typical Thanksgiving. I want lobster for Thanksgiving. You can. I wouldn't even mind a smoked eel on the side, But,
the lobster sounds good.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
It does. So I have two pet peeves when it comes to Thanksgiving. Very important to me is I take umbrage when somebody calls it Turkey Day. It is not Turkey Day. You might have turkey on that day, but it is a day to give thanks to our God, thanks to the Creator for everything He has given us, because everything does come from His hand. The good harvest.
Amen.
If we have a day that we're living, if we're drawing breath, if we have food on the table, that's for Him. We should be giving thanks every day, and we do. But one day set aside, that's not asking a lot.
No.
And my other pet peeve, way off in the other corner, is the word yams. Nobody, I guarantee, nobody is serving candied yams at their table. They are not yams. Yam is a root crop from Africa that is very different, but kind of looks a little bit like what is a sweet potato. So,
yeah,
if I did what I really wanted to do, I would take a big magic marker and go into the grocery stores and scribble up the word yams.
I think you should stop yammering about that.
So, our Thanksgiving, I think I've put the menu apart, but generally when I approach putting a menu for Thanksgiving dinner, I try to have it to be the fruit of the harvest. So I'm not going to bring in something or much of something that wasn't grown in the area. I want to reach into our pantry, into our root cellar, into our larder. Have you heard of that word?
Yes.
I have not.
Larder is an old-fashioned word for pantry. That's where people several generations and more back, when they stored their food, The larder.
That's where you put your jars of lard.
The larder.
That's probably where it was. You want to keep the lard cold. So, some people call it larder.
Back in the cool spot.
Yeah, the fruit cellar, the root cellar, the pantry.
Interesting.
The food storage. So, the kinds of things. Also, even like nowadays, we have the freezer. What do I have in my freezer that I either grew or I got from a farmer that's kind of local? So, I'm going to get the potatoes that we're growing locally and the onions that I have stored and the green beans that I jarred and the corn that froze and maybe a little bit of that lacto-fermented. We got pumpkins and squash, and I want to put that in, and apples, so it's going to be a pumpkin pie and an apple pie and a little bit of this. But yes, the fruit, the fruit of the harvest, the bounty, and we're going to give a great thanks and appreciation to the God who is the giver of all things and the giver of life.
Amen.
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 And that is why we should give thanks.
Yes.
Yes, indeedy. Thank you, Miss Kimmy, for this week's garden report. That was wonderful. All righty. So we're going to be closing out our broadcast day now. It is 8:54. And before we go, we do want to leave with a good word of the day. And the good word is brought to you by the good folks at NGEMS, Tony, Mark, and Julie. Their company, NGEMS Floor Covering, has got over 100 years of floor covering experience. And not only are they experts in floor covering, they are also experts in saving you money. 2010 Oriskany Street West, 733-0421. And today we are going to go to 2 Corinthians 10:3. For though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does. Amen. So keep those good words with you until Monday when Al and I see you. And have a great weekend, everybody. It's going to be a good day, so get out there and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone.
Days when the pain just lasts and lasts, but I know there will come a day when all our tears are washed away with a break in the clouds, His glory coming down, and in that moment every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that God is love, love has come for us all. So